The space station called Prime 7 was the biggest thing humans had ever seen. It floated in the dark emptiness between three galaxies like a giant metal flower. Today it was full of aliens from 42 different planets. They had come for a very important meeting. Walked through the long hallway made of crystal and steel. She was a human ambassador, which meant her job was to talk to aliens and make friends with them. But today was not about making friends. Today was about survival. Her daughter held her hand tightly, was only 5 years old. She had round cheeks, bright curious eyes, and hair tied in 2 small ponytails. She should not have been here at all. But's babysitter got sick, and there was no time to find another one. So little came to the most dangerous meeting in 300 years. "Mommy, this place is so big," said. Her voice was full of wonder as she looked at everything around her. "Yes, baby, please stay close to me, okay?" "Okay, Mommy." They entered the main conference hall. It was enormous. The ceiling was so high that clouds actually formed near the top. Thousands of seats were arranged in circles, and aliens of all shapes and sizes filled them. Some aliens looked like giant insects with clicking mouths. Some looked like walking rocks with glowing eyes. These were the granite people. Some were like floating jellyfish made of light. Some had too many arms. Some had no arms at all. And all of them were scared. Could see it in the way they moved, the way they whispered, the way they kept looking at the giant doors at the far end of the hall. "Mommy, why is everyone acting weird?" asked. "They are nervous, sweetheart." "Why?" Before could answer, a loud horn sound filled the hall. Everyone went silent at once. Even the translator machine stopped humming. The giant doors began to open slowly. They were so big and heavy that the floor shook as they moved. Something was coming. Felt her heart beat faster. She had read the reports. She had seen the pictures, but nothing could prepare her for what walked through those doors. It was a dragon. But calling it a dragon was like calling the ocean a puddle. This creature was as big as a starship. Its scales were black like the empty space between stars. Not shiny black, but a black that seemed to eat all light. Its eyes burned like 2 dying suns, orange and red and terrible. Great wings folded against its body, each wing big enough to cover a small city. Its tail was longer than a train, covered in spikes that looked sharper than any blade. This was the Undying, the oldest living thing in the known universe. The report said she was born before most galaxies existed. She had lived for 8 billion years. She had seen stars being born and dying. She had watched entire species come and go like seasons, and she had destroyed 17 planets with her own power. 17 planets, billions and billions of lives, gone, just because she wanted them gone. And now she was here. The aliens, who looked like tall purple birds, fainted immediately. All 12 of them fell to the ground at the same time. Nobody helped them. Nobody could move. The made scared clicking sounds. The granite people began to crack. Actual cracks appeared in their stone bodies because they were so terrified. Walked slowly to a giant platform in the center of the hall. Each step she took made the whole station shake. She was so heavy that the metal floor bent slightly under her feet. When she finally settled down, her tail wrapped around several support beams. The beams groaned under the pressure. Then she spoke. Her voice was not loud, but it filled every corner of the massive hall. It was like thunder that came from everywhere at once. It was like the sound of mountains breaking. "I have come," said. "You may begin your offerings." Held closer. The little girl was looking at the dragon with wide eyes, but strangely she did not look scared. She looked interested. "Mommy," whispered, "is that a dinosaur?" "No, baby, that is something much older than dinosaurs." "She is pretty." Looked down at her daughter with shock. Pretty. The most terrifying creature in the universe, and her 5-year-old called it pretty. "Listen to me carefully," said in a serious voice. "You must stay right here with me. Do not move. Do not make any sound, do you understand? Yes, Mommy. The meeting began. One by one, ambassadors from different planets walked forward to offer gifts too. They offered rare crystals that took 1,000 years to grow. The granite people offered maps to hidden treasure planets. The light jellyfish creatures offered something called pure energy essence. Looked at each gift with bored eyes. She did not say thank you. She did not say anything at all. She just stared, and the ambassadors ran back to their seats, happy to still be alive. Then it was the human turn. Ambassador, a tall man with hair and nervous hands, walked forward. He was carrying a small box made of gold. Great, he said, his voice shaking. The Human-Terran Alliance offers you. Silence. The word hit like a physical force, stumbled backward. I did not give you permission to speak, insect. Bowed quickly and hurried back. His face was white as paper. Felt cold fear in her stomach. If the dragon was this harsh, what hope did they have? But then she noticed something. Her hand was empty. She looked down. Was gone. His heart stopped. For one terrible moment, the whole universe went silent. Her daughter was not beside her. Her daughter was not holding her hand. Her daughter was gone. Then she saw her. Little was walking across the open floor of the conference hall. Her small feet made soft sounds on the metal ground. She was walking straight toward the dragon. Nari screamed. She tried to run after her daughter, but hands grabbed her from all sides. Security guards, granite people, they held her back with strong grips. Let me go, that is my daughter, let me go. Ambassador, you cannot, one guard said. If you run toward the dragon, she will kill you both. At least this way, only one dies. Fought harder, tears ran down her face. Her voice broke into sobs, but she could not break free from so many hands. The entire hall watched in frozen horror. Little kept walking. She did not run. She did not skip. She just walked like she was going to meet a friend in the playground. Her pink dress swayed slightly with each step. Her small ponytails bounced. Every alien in the room was sure they were about to watch a child die. They covered their many eyes. The granite people looked away, their stone faces cracking even more from stress. The light jellyfish creatures dimmed with sadness. Notice the movement. The dragon's massive head turned slowly. Those burning star eyes focused on the tiny human walking toward her. One of her eyes was bigger than its whole body. What is this? The dragon asked. Her voice was curious, not angry, not yet. Stopped walking. She was now standing directly under the dragon's jaw. If opened her mouth even a little, she could swallow the child without trying. One of the dragon's teeth was longer than was tall. But was not looking at the teeth. She was looking up at the dragon's face with a big smile. Hello, said in her cheerful little voice. My name is, what is your name? Silence. Complete and total silence. Nobody breathed, nobody moved, nobody could believe what they were hearing. Stared at the child. In 8 billion years, many creatures had spoken to her. They had begged for mercy. They had screamed in terror. They had tried to bargain for their lives. Some had tried to fight. Some had tried to run. Nobody had ever said hello. Nobody had ever asked her name. You do not know who I am? The dragon asked. No, said honestly, but you look really cool. Are you a princess dragon? You have a crown on your head. Had bone ridges on her skull that did look a little like a crown. No one had ever mentioned it before. No one had ever looked at her long enough to notice small details like that. I am the Undying, the dragon said slowly. I have destroyed worlds. I have killed billions. I am the most dangerous being in this universe. Thought about this for a moment. Her small face scrunched up the way children's faces do when they are thinking hard. My friend said dragons eat people, said, but I do not think you eat people. Why not? Because you look sad. Another wave of silence hit the hall. Even stopped struggling. She stared at her daughter with shock and wonder. His burning eyes flickered. Something moved in them, something old and buried deep. Sad, the dragon repeated. Yes, sad, like my grandpa before he went to the hospital. He looked big and scary because he was always frowning, but Mommy said he was just sad and lonely. Tilted her head to one side. Are you lonely? The ambassador's translator machine made a loud popping sound and broke completely. It could not handle what it was hearing. Several other translators also failed around the room. Lowered her head, slowly, very slowly. The movement made the air push against everyone in the hall. Her massive face came down and down until her snout was almost touching the floor. Now she was eye level with the little human girl. Up close, the dragon's scales looked like millions of tiny black mirrors. Her breath was hot and smelled like burning stars. Her eyes were like looking into the heart of a sun. I have been alive for 8 billion years, said. Her voice was quieter now, almost soft. I was born before your galaxy existed. I have watched civilizations rise and fall like waves on a beach. I have seen things that would break your small human mind. That sounds lonely, said. It is. The dragon closed her eyes for a moment. It is very lonely. Felt tears running down her face again, but they were not tears of fear anymore. They were something else, something she did not have a word for. Reached out her small hand. My mommy says hugs make lonely go away, she said. Do you want a hug? Every alien in the room thought the same thing. This is how the child dies. But did not move. She did not attack. She did not burn the child to ash. She waited. And for the first time in 8 billion years, someone touched her without a weapon in their hand. Wrapped her small arms around the dragon's snout. Her arms were so short she could not even reach halfway around, but she hugged as hard as she could. There, said, patting the black scales. It is okay, you are not alone now. The delegation, who had just woken up from fainting, fainted again. Nobody in the conference hall moved. Nobody spoke. They all watched the impossible thing happening in front of them. A 5-year-old human girl was hugging the most dangerous creature in the universe, and the creature was not killing her. Kept her arms wrapped around snout. Her small fingers touched the black scales. They were warm, like stones that had been sitting in the sun. Your scales feel bumpy, said happily. Like my lizard toy at home, but bigger, much, much bigger. Had not moved. Her massive body was completely still. Her burning eyes were open but strange. They looked confused, lost, like someone who had forgotten how to feel something and was suddenly remembering. Why are you not afraid of me? The dragon asked quietly. Why would I be afraid of you? I have killed billions of creatures. Thought about this. My teacher said that sometimes people do bad things because they are hurting inside. She said we should try to understand them, not be scared of them. She looked up at the giant face. Were you hurting inside? Did not answer for a long time. Had stopped fighting the guards. She stood frozen, watching her daughter talk to the ancient destroyer. Her heart was beating so fast she thought it might break out of her chest. I do not remember, finally said. It was so long ago. I do not remember why I did the things I did. I only remember that I was angry, and then I was empty, and then I was alone. That is very sad, said. Her voice was gentle, the way children's voices are when they feel someone else's pain. 8 billion years is a very long time to be alone. You cannot even imagine how long it is, small one. No, agreed, but I know what one day of being alone feels like. When Mommy went on a work trip and I stayed with my aunt, I cried every night because I missed her. She hugged the dragon's snout. If one day felt so bad, I cannot imagine 8 billion years. You must be very, very sad. Something happened then that no living creature had ever seen. A drop of liquid fell from Zai. It was not a normal tear. It was golden and glowing like liquid sunlight. It fell to the ground and made a small sizzling sound. Then it hardened into a tiny crystal. The dragon was crying. Ambassador fell to his knees, not because he was scared, but because his legs stopped working from pure shock. Other aliens grabbed onto each other for support. The granite people made sounds like crumbling mountains, which was their way of gasping. I had forgotten, whispered. I had forgotten what kindness felt like. It has been so long since anyone was kind to me. That is because you are scary looking, said honestly. But looking scary does not mean you are bad. My dog looks scary to some people because he is big, but he is actually very sweet and likes belly rubs. I do not know what belly rubs are. It is when someone rubs your belly and it feels nice. Do dragons like belly rubs? I do not know. No one has ever offered. Released the hug and stepped back. She put her hands on her hips and looked at the dragon with a serious face. It was the face she made when she was thinking very hard about something important. I think, said slowly, you need a friend. A friend. Yes, a friend. Someone who likes you and plays with you and gives you hugs when you are sad. His massive body shifted. The whole station shook slightly. The aliens in the room grabbed their seats in fear, but the dragon was not attacking. She was just moving to get more comfortable. No creature has ever wanted to be my friend, the dragon said. They are all too afraid. I am not afraid. I can see that, but why? You are so small, I could end you with a single breath. Shrugged. It was a simple, childish shrug that somehow carried more wisdom than 1,000 philosophers. My mommy says that love is stronger than fear, said. She says that if you love someone, you should not be afraid to show it, even if it is scary. Your mother sounds wise. She is the best mommy in the whole universe. Lifted her head slightly and looked toward the crowd. Her burning eyes found, who was still being held by guards but had stopped struggling. Human mother, the dragon called out, come here. The guards looked at each other with fear, but they released. His legs were shaking so badly she could barely walk, but she forced herself to move. Step by step, she crossed the open floor toward her daughter and the ancient dragon. When she reached, she immediately pulled her daughter into a tight hug. Mommy, you are squeezing too hard. I thought I lost you, whispered into his hair. I thought I lost you forever. I am okay, Mommy. I just made a new friend. Looked up at, the dragon's face was impossible to read. Those burning eyes could have held anything: anger, amusement, hunger, curiosity. Your child has done something no creature has done in 8 billion years, the dragon said. What did she do? Asked. Her voice was barely working. She reminded me what it means to feel. Tugged on her mother's sleeve. Mommy, can we keep her? Despite everything, despite the fear and the shock and the tears, laughed. Sweetie, we cannot keep a dragon. But she is lonely, she needs us. Made a sound. It took everyone a moment to realize what it was. The dragon was laughing too. The dragon's laughter filled the conference hall like warm thunder. It was not a scary sound. It was the sound of someone who had forgotten how to be happy suddenly remembering. Every alien in the room stared with wide eyes. Some of them had lived for thousands of years. Some of them had studied from far away for centuries. None of them had ever heard the dragon laugh. The ambassador clicked nervously. Is this a good thing? Nobody answered because nobody knew. His laughter slowly faded into something like a gentle rumble. Her burning eyes looked down at with something that might have been fondness. Little one, the dragon said, you are the strangest creature I have ever met. Thank you, said brightly, taking it as a compliment. I did not mean, stopped. Then she made that laughing sound again, softer this time. Actually, you are right. It is a compliment. In 8 billion years, nothing has surprised me. Nothing has made me feel new feelings, but you have done both in just a few minutes. Held close, still not fully believing they were both alive. Great, I apologize for my daughter's behavior. She did not mean to. "Do not apologize," the dragon interrupted. "Do not ever apologize for this child." Went quiet, lifted her head, and looked at the thousands of aliens watching from their seats. They all shrank back when her gaze passed over them. "You all came here today to offer me gifts," the dragon said. Her voice was loud again, filling every corner of the hall. "You brought me jewels and treasures and maps and power. You thought these things would please me." Nobody dared to respond. "But none of you thought to offer me what I truly needed," looked back down at. "None of you thought to offer me kindness. None of you thought to offer me friendship. None of you thought to offer me love." The word hung in the air like a sacred thing. Love. The most dangerous being in the universe was talking about love. "I have lived for so long that I forgot why I was angry," continued. "I forgot why I destroyed those worlds. I forgot why I pushed everyone away. I just kept going because I did not know how to stop. I did not know how to be anything else." She lowered her head again, bringing her face close to and. But this small child looked at me and saw something else. She saw loneliness. She saw pain. She saw someone who needed a hug. Nodded seriously. "Everyone needs hugs." "Perhaps they do, little one. Perhaps they do." Ambassador slowly got back to his feet. His legs were still weak, but he felt like he needed to say something. "Great," he said carefully. Does this mean you will help us in the war against the Void?" The Void War. That was why everyone was really here. A terrible enemy was coming from the dark spaces between galaxies. They were called the Void because they consumed everything: light, matter, life, even time itself. No single species could stop them. The only hope was who was old enough and powerful enough to fight them. The dragon considered the question. "I came to this meeting because I was bored," she admitted. "I came because I wanted to see what the small creatures of this era would offer me. I expected to be disappointed. I expected to leave and let your war happen without me. I did not care if you all died." The hall was silent. "But now things are different." Eyes moved from Tutu. "Now I have met a human child who offered me a hug. Now I have felt something I had forgotten existed." "What will you do?" asked quietly. "I will protect your species." The words landed like a bomb made of light instead of fire. Gasps erupted around the hall. Aliens turned to each other with shocked expressions. They clicked so fast their translators could not keep up. The granite people made cracking sounds of disbelief. "Protect us," stammered. "Yes, the humans will be under my protection. Any species that threatens them will answer to me." Spread her massive wings slightly. They were so big they touched the walls on both sides. "This is not a negotiation. This is not a trade. I am not asking for anything in return. This is simply what will be." But why?" someone asked from the crowd. Looked at again. "Because this child showed me that humans are different. They do not see monsters. They see friends they have not made yet. They do not feel only fear. They feel compassion first." The dragon's voice became softer. "In 8 billion years, no other species has been like this. No other species has children who hug dragons." Tugged on her mother's sleeve again. "See, Mommy, she is nice, I told you." "Yes, baby, you were right. You were absolutely right." The other alien ambassadors began whispering urgently among themselves. If humans were now protected by, that changed everything. Every species would want to be friends with humans. Every species would want human allies. The balance of the entire galaxy had just shifted because a 5-year-old girl gave a dragon a hug. Notice the whispers. She made a low rumbling sound that silenced everyone. "Let me be clear about something," the dragon said. "I am not protecting humans because they are strong. I am not protecting them because they have useful technology or strategic value. I am protecting them because of what they are, because of how they love." She looked at the crowd with those burning ancient eyes. "If you want to be allies with humans, good. But do not pretend to like them just to get to me. I have watched civilizations lie for billions of years. I can smell dishonesty like you smell food. If you try to hurt humans or trick them, I will know, and I will come for you." Nobody doubted her for a second. The conference ended 3 hours later. It was supposed to last 3 days, but there was no need anymore. Everything had changed because of one little girl. Ambassadors rushed to talk to the human delegates. Species that had ignored humans for years suddenly wanted to be best friends. Trade agreements were offered. Alliance proposals were made. Invitations to visit alien piled up like gifts at a birthday party. But did not care about any of that. She sat on a bench near the window, holding in her lap. Outside the window, a million stars sparkled in the endless dark. Somewhere out there, the void was coming. But somehow, that felt less scary now. Was tired. Her eyes kept closing, then opening, then closing again. Saving the galaxy was exhausting work for a 5-year-old. Footsteps approached, heavy footsteps that made the floor vibrate. Looked up. Had made herself smaller. She was still enormous compared to humans, but now she was only about the size of a large truck instead of a starship. Dragons could change their size, apparently. Nobody had known that before. "May I sit with you?" the dragon asked. Blinked. The most powerful being in the universe was asking permission to sit. Of course. Settled down beside the bench. Even at this smaller size, her body radiated warmth like a small sun. It was actually quite comfortable. Opened her sleepy eyes. "Oh, hi, dragon lady." "Hello, little one. Are you tired?" "Yes, hugging is hard work." Made that rumbling laugh sound again. "I imagine it is." For a few minutes, nobody spoke. They just sat together and watched the stars. It was peaceful. Strange, but peaceful. "I have a question," finally said. "Ask." "Why did you destroy those planets, the 17 worlds? What happened?" Was quiet for a long moment. Her burning eyes dimmed slightly, like a fire losing some of its heat. "The first world was an accident," the dragon said. "I was young then, only a few million years old. I was playing and I did not know my own strength. I destroyed an entire civilization without meaning to." She paused. "The other species found out. They were afraid. They attacked me. They tried to kill me before I could hurt anyone else. But they could not kill me. Nothing can kill me, so I fought back. And I destroyed them too. And then everyone was afraid of me. No one would come near me. No one would talk to me. I was alone. I was angry. I was in pain. And I took that pain and turned it into fire. I burned world after world because I did not know what else to do with my feelings." Felt her heart hurt. It was a terrible story. Terrible things had happened. But underneath all the destruction, there was just a lonely creature who did not know how to ask for help. "That is very sad," said sleepily. She had not been fully asleep after all. "It is," agreed. "I am not proud of what I did. I cannot undo it. Those worlds are gone forever. Those lives will never come back." "Then what will you do now?" asked. The dragon looked at her with those ancient eyes, but they did not look scary anymore. They looked tired, hopeful, maybe even a little scared. "I will try to do better," said. "I will protect instead of destroy. I will help instead of hurt. I will try to earn back something I lost a long time ago." "What did you lose?" "The right to be loved." Sat up slightly in her mother's lap. Her sleepy eyes were serious now. "You did not lose that," said. "Love is not something you earn. Love is something you get because you exist. My mommy loves me even when I make mistakes, even when I break things, even when I am bad." "Your child is wise beyond her years," said Tu. "She is. I do not know where she gets it from." "From you, I think." The dragon reached out one massive claw, very slowly and very carefully. She touched head gently, like she was petting something precious and fragile. "I would like to visit your planet," said. "Earth. I would like to see where creatures like you come from." You can come any time, said. I will show you my dog, he is very fluffy. I would like that very much. Smiled. It was strange. 12 hours ago she had been terrified of this meeting. She had been scared of the dragon. She had been scared for humanity's future. Now she was sitting next to the most powerful being in the universe, talking about dogs. Life was very unexpected sometimes. Great, said. I have one more question. Yes. Asked if you were a princess dragon. You never answered. His eyes widened slightly. Then she laughed again, that warm thunder sound. No one has ever asked me that before, the dragon said. But if your daughter says I am a princess, then perhaps I am. She seems to be right about most things. Smiled sleepily. Princess Dragon, she mumbled. I knew it. Then she fell asleep in her mother's arms. Watched her sleep with something soft in her ancient eyes. She is special, the dragon said quietly. Protect her. Always promised. And know this of Earth, as long as I exist, your species is safe. The void will not touch you. No enemy will harm you. This is my promise. Thank you. No, shook her massive head. Thank you. Thank you for bringing her here. Thank you for raising her to be kind. Thank you for reminding me what it means to hope. Outside the window, the stars kept shining. Somewhere out there, the void was still coming, but they would face it together now. Human and dragon, the smallest and the largest, fear and love. And love would win. It always did.